Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm one of your hosts, Brad.
Jamie.
Today we've got another episode of Brews News, or the #1 original coffee news show. Today we've got Origin Coffee's smelly and very noisy new roastery in Cornwall. We've got an update to the Brazil story from last week, and we've also got a coffee workers that are striking up north.
Great, let's jump right into it.
Okay, first up today we've got a story which is hitting quite a few of the major news outlets around the country, and it is in regards to Origin Coffee Roastery's new roastery down in Cornwall in Porthleathen. So I don't know if anyone's following Origin Coffee Roastery. They're a great roastery down in Cornwall, doing lovely things, but they've just opened a new roastery and they've got, two giant Lorens. I don't know if anyone's ever seen a Loren in action, but those are some noisy motherfuckers. And unfortunately, the noise from the roasting and the actual odor coming from the roastery is causing some issues in the local area, and there's a lot of people complaining.
I find that kind of odd.
Yeah.
What's around Porthleathen? Like, looking at the map, it looks like farmland, right? So I would wager that if you couldn't smell coffee, you can probably smell cow shit. I've been to a lot of countryside. That's what it smells like.
Some people really like that. I quite like this. I like the smell of farms and like sea air, like salty air and poop. It's like it's like a. I don't mind that. I find it quite nice.
I think I've told you the story before. I used to live with a guy, Simon, who was really into very funky Ethiopian naturals because they tasted quite farmy. And then so he would buy this like really funky natural and then drink it with goat's milk as a filter.
Oh, weird.
It's like goat squared. It's great. And like farm squared.
Basically, there's a local residents group that is forming some type of like complaint. They're basically trying to go to the council to get some type of action to be had against Origin Coffee. There's sort of like a bit of a split in the reaction online to this story. I guess anytime you can put hipster coffee in a news title, it's going to elicit like a certain response from a certain type of person. So some of the top-rated comments on this story on the dailymail.co.uk.
Comments, man.
The most upvoted comment on this story is, never known any group of people to whine and moan like the Cornish do. Such an ungrateful bunch. Then the next highest is obviously the opposite. Porthleathen used to be a quaint Cornish fishing village before the London set moved in and destroyed the place. The Cornish complain about everything. It's the first thing that strikes you when you visit the place. Is this a thing? Is this like a thing?
Do you know what I think it is? It's because it's the Daily Mail you're reading comments from, and because there is like a movement in Cornwall that they want to be separate from England. Like they want, Cornish people are traditionally Celtic as well, like Wales and Ireland and Scotland. Well, there is like a movement for like independent Cornwall, and if you go there, you'll see they've got like a Cornish flag that you'll see on certain cars and stuff. So that might just be saltiness for them, not.
I wonder what their main export would be if they actually could do that. Just the pasties or
coffee. So a company moves in, gets 50 locals off the dole. That's a bit of an assumption. Pays them a wage, which in turn they spend in the local community. Thereby, everyone benefits. But hey ho, locals prefer the smell of rotting old fish rather than fresh roasted coffee. Yeah, I can see where they're coming from.
An unfortunate situation for the Origin to be in, having to deal with that. Hopefully they can find a resolution pretty soon and kind of work through that. No one wants the local residents kind of going to the council about you. We've had that in the past. It's awful to have to deal with that kind of thing.
It's not fun.
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm kind of neither here nor there on it. So I just feel sorry for them having to deal with it.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on Origin side. I mean, like, again, like they're saying it's a quaint fishing village before Origin moved in. I mean, like, those aren't rowing boats. I'm sure those fishing boats stink as well. I'm sure they have lots of fumes.
Yeah, fuck you, place.
Fuck Cornwall.
Fuck Cornwall. So here you've got an update for the Brazil story from last week.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It was we overreacted. There was a massive decrease in coffee futures prices yesterday. It went down 10.6%, which is the lowest single day decline in over a decade.
Cool.
It's still relatively high if you look over like the year.
Should we put a graph up on the screen?
So yeah, basically what happened was like there was initial panic around the frost. That initial story and that increase in the price was based on speculation from the farmers initially saying like this is a problem. And since then people have gone out and analyzed it and said that frost isn't as widespread as they first thought.
Okay, so that's
Though this week some parts of Brazil had snow on coffee
they're not-
farms. So they're out of it yet. They're like, well, right now it's not terrible, but the weather's not finished yet, so they're still waiting to see.
And I suppose if they're still dealing with frost that did happen, it may be not as widespread, but that still doesn't mean that some farmers weren't massively affected and some people are losing a lot right now. So we'll obviously keep our eye on that one as well, and any updates we'll shoot over to you.
Definitely.
Okay, the next we've got a story coming out of Banbury, Oxfordshire. There's a JDE coffee factory up there that is having some issues with their staff and some sort of threatening of like strike actions.
JDE.
JDE is a subsidiary of JDE Peet's. Peet's is quite a popular coffee brand out of the States. JDE Peet's, they own the likes of Stumptown Coffee, Intelligentsia, and Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, in the States. And here in the UK, they also look after Kinko and Jacobs, which are two pretty popular like instant coffee brands. So the story here is basically that there was some negotiations going on at the start of the year between the workers and the bosses. Those talks broke down, and Section 188 was issued against 291 staff members. Now, a Section 188 is something that an employer is legally obliged to serve to its staff if it's looking to make more than 20 people redundant. So the redundancy that they were looking to do was basically a plan to completely fire all of the staff and then give them the option to rehire them
with money.
Yeah, according to Unite, which is a union that's like looking after them through this process, the staff could effectively be dismissed and then rehired for an inferior pay and working conditions if this goes through. Luckily for the staff, Unite sort of have brokered this deal where they've actually put a hold on that, which was supposed to already have happened. So they've pushed off the fire and rehire action till the 13th of September to allow time for negotiations. So yeah, the union believe that they've actually come to some type of arrangement with the bosses, and they're putting together the proposal for the staff to vote on, and they think that they've got a good amount of protection over pay and workers' conditions, but that's yet to be seen, and obviously it'll be going to a ballot with the staff over the conditions. So we'll keep an eye on this one. This is something that's been sort of going on for most of this year. It's pretty interesting, I guess, to see that that sort of battle, because I guess when you've got 300 staff members, and you start threatening strike, that's you've got a bit of power there. So it's good to see them using that and trying to get what they feel that they deserve. But that's it. We'll
keep an eye on that for you.
We'll keep an eye on that for you.
And lastly, due to endless comments from you guys, we had to watch the original Space Jam and review it for you. So
yeah, there were so many people commenting on the OG Space.
Hundreds and hundreds of comments.
There were, I think there may have been thousands. Did you rewatch it?
Yeah, it was a delight.
Yeah,
loved it.
I watched it. I actually just watched it this morning, and it was so much better than what I remembered. I think I remember it being good, but I think having just watched the new one, And then watching this, it was just like such a pleasant surprise that it's actually a really fun movie. The animation it has aged obviously, but it's also like it doesn't matter because there's so much of that Looney Tunes style animation in it, which is somewhat kind of timeless.
Yeah, and I think also like the fact that the animation is more primitive helps it. If you look at like Space Jam 2, it was so over the top that you couldn't really concentrate on anything that was happening. Maybe I'm just old. But
no.
I felt like you lost a lot of the substance from just like loads of CGI just spinning around on the screen.
One of our critiques from last week was obviously it seemed like it was just so like centered around LeBron James and how great he was and how his family and whatever. But this one is sort of he's definitely taking the piss out of himself.
Baldy.
I guess it's
as like a baseball player who doesn't know what he's doing, and everyone's being like overly nice to him because he's Michael Jordan.
I mean, you look good when you strike out, man. When I strike out, man, it looks nasty, man. At least you look good, man.
Yeah, when you talk about like how different the tone is between the way Michael Jordan is kind of made fun of a little bit, and LeBron James, everything is like all about how great he is and how great a dad he is and how great a player he is. I mean, I guess it is different, right? When Michael Jordan made Space Jam, it was no question, no one had any doubt that he was the best ever to play basketball. And now LeBron James is still trying to take that mantle off Jordan, and no one is decisive about it. No one can say like he is better.
Michael Jordan!
Who?
Yeah, especially watching it again after watching The Last Dance and seeing more details around what happened with Jordan and his dad, which they kind of talk about.
My father had the opportunity to see me play my last basketball game, and that means a lot to me.
He says that he wants to play baseball, which is because that was his dad's favorite sport, or he said he'd always do it. And obviously, shortly before filming of that movie, his dad died under quite mysterious circumstances. It was a really hard time. There was like maybe some behind the scenes stuff going on in the NBA that was maybe going to surface about gambling and other problems, and then Jordan retired and went to play, like they'd go and play baseball. This kind of becomes like canon to reality of like, so what actually happened was I had to go and save the Looney Tunes from enslavement. And then down to like
golf. She basically just like rewrote history with the Looney Tunes, which is hilarious.
Or like set the record straight, I don't know.
So what would you rate that one? Out of 5.
Out of 5. I'm gonna say 4.5. I really enjoyed the movie. I didn't watch it when it first came out because I wasn't the biggest Jordan fan growing up. I preferred other players, and I think that's holding me back from giving it a perfect score because I still have issues with Jordan all this time later.
Oh, okay.
It became personal with me.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair score. I'd probably go maybe 4.
It's Charles Barkley.
Hey, can I play?
But I don't know. I found it really fun. I think it's one of these movies. I'm actually looking forward to. I'm going to try and see it. Yeah, see if my daughter will watch that one with me because I want to watch it again because I was trying to watch it at work and trying to cram it in before we shot this video. So yeah, I'm quite excited about that. But we should, if you enjoyed that review, maybe comment down below what else we should review.
Movies, music, products.
Anything. Coffee.
Anything.
Like it can be coffee stuff, but if it's not coffee stuff, we would prefer that.
Tell us what to review.
Yeah.
We can do anything.
We can do anything. We'll review your YouTube channel. Alright, cool. We're done now. Yeah, thank you.